Hello everybody and welcome to RITF Gaming. This is a new series which I'm calling Rapid Fire Reviews. In case you aren't very good with nomenclature, I'll explain what this is all about. Pretty much, I'll quite often think about games that I can review for the channel and for my Retro Rip series. But quite a few of them I sort of think I've got an idea going on in my head and I sort of start either writing those points down or trying to write a script up or something. And then it kind of realise that I've only got like 3, 4, 5 minutes worth of content and it's a bit rubbish. So I normally scrap that and try to move on to something else. And with my limited amount of time that I have to do anything nowadays, let alone make YouTube videos and try and run the channel or be part of running the channel, etc, etc, it means that quite often videos get scrapped or don't make it to a point. But I still feel like I have something to say about a game, and so therefore this is a new series. Today I'm of course going to be talking about something that I've been actually quite excited about for the last sort of few days, been quite addicted to it, and in case you couldn't tell by the title, that's Game Dev Story, which is a mobile game, which I'm pretty sure is a first for this channel to be talking about a mobile game. So here we go. I know let's enter around the filthy casuals and talk about in 5 minutes or less, Game Dev Story. So what's Game Dev Story all about, I hear you cry? Well, Game Dev Story is exactly what it says on the tin. It's all about developing games and being in charge of a game studio. You can make your own one up, or if you did what I did and just made it Atari, because for some reason I don't think Atari really feature in the game. Of course, none of them feature in the game because they're all licensed and they're not paying for licensing. The game itself can be found on a variety of platforms. It's probably Android, iOS. I have it on my trusty Kindle Fire, and I am just stupidly addicted to this game. I've been playing it for hours. It is obscenely addictive, despite the fact that most of the time you don't actually have much involvement on what's going on. You can pick it works something like this. So you start out with X amount of money, you have to try and get some people in to make your games, and you have to make a PC game pretty much first off, because none of the console manufacturers will accept you because you haven't proven yourself. So you have to develop a PC game. You can pick a genre, and that's like racing or action or adventure or RPG or shooting or whatever have you. And then after that, you then get to pick the type. So you could have like a motorsport racing game, or you could have like a robot RPG or something. I don't know how it would work. So pretty much that part of it is trying to work out what is good for you and what is a bad idea of it. What is a good and bad idea of a game. And that's really good. I do quite like that. After that, you kind of just sit and let your staff, which you're hiring and firing, etc., etc., by the way, you kind of just let your staff get on with it, and they'll progress the game in their own way. It's always kind of fun just to watch it and see where it's going. Sometimes they'll come up to you and ask if they can try and get better graphics, or if they can go for it. And then you can spend a certain amount of points, which you have represented by a floppy disk icon in the top left corner of the game screen, which is part of your creativity points, and you can try and boost the game to make it better. The idea is pretty much like any sort of sim, is just to keep getting loads of money, and in theory it can self-perpetuate for as long as it wants. I think a friend of mine said he managed to get it going for like 40 years before he got bored. It's not just games you manage, however, you can also do contracts if you're desperate for money. They're kind of okay, but it's better to develop games normally. I think it's ordinarily the thrill of going through the process, having an alpha, beta, finalising, and then debugging, sending a game out and seeing its sales skyrocket. Obviously you can spend money on like advertising and training up your staff, and training up your staff has the advantage of gaining or unlocking more content, more stuff for you to do, so like more game genres, more game types, improving parameters to make your staff better, and that's all really well and good. And the fact is you can fail at this game, and I have done so several times by defaulting on debts, because I racked up a thing. I've racked up debts because I haven't been able to pay my employees, and then I've had to sort of try and get a game shoved out the door. But sometimes I'm sat there cruising, sitting on a game with like a 70 fun or whatever. There's 4 categories for a game to be counted on, and I'll be sat there going, hey, that's really going somewhere, and I've got a load of money up there. So let's just carry on. I'm sitting pretty. It's a great game. It's horrifically addictive. It's just fun to be able to run your own company. It's not historically accurate compared to, say, Game Dev Tycoon. It's not quite following in a straight pattern. I think at the moment the Super Nintendo is going head-to-head with the Virtual Boy and the Neo Geo AES, but something like that. But ultimately, you should get it. And it's because it's £1.69. It is addictive. It's so fun. You can spend hours sat in there. And that's what you really want from a mobile game. It's addictive and fun and easy to play, hard to master. It's a great game. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.